All right, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to RapClout official interview with your boy Art. Today we got a very special guest in the building. The man behind a lot of dope pictures being captured, a lot of memories being captured of the Brooklyn drill scene, just hip hop, and I don't even want to restrict it to Brooklyn drill, but hip hop in general. Like, you capture these events, you capture these memories.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm speaking too highly of you, but it's needed to be said. Kelvin, what's up, man? How are you?
How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Let's not act like we haven't sat next to each other before. Good to see you. We've seen each other before. We sat next to each other. But
good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I actually just came from a photo gallery of this photographer, Sharif, who photographed a bunch of pictures of like Nas and DMX and Jay-Z. And so that was very cool and inspiring to go to.
Yeah. You know why I love you, bro? And I don't mean that in like because New York people be like, pause. But I mean like admiring. Yeah, like I admire you because whenever I see you or whenever you're out doing stuff, it's always career related. Like, it's never just you're wasting time doing something just for the sake of doing it. Like, it's always like there's a reason behind why you're out at this specific place.
That's very true.
I admire that about you because it means that, I think to me it speaks my time is valuable and I spend it wisely. So I like that.
I mean, I definitely spend a lot of time outside, and so it definitely tires me out sometimes. But no, it's funny though, because sometimes, like, even if I end up like going to see like a homie, I just 9 times out of 10, what I'm doing with my day is going to be music related or photo related in some way. But most of the time it's like completely by accident. But also like because a lot of my I've built these relationships and friendships with people in the music industry, so like it's gotten to the point where sometimes I don't even really think about it as like
business.
Yeah, exactly. It just like, we're just hanging out again. I'm doing my thing, they're doing their thing, and it works out. So far, so good.
So let's get to know you, man. We know you. We know your pictures. We know you. We see your work on IG, but let's get to know you, the person. You graduated college in 2019. You went to Syracuse, right? Syracuse.
Yeah.
Talk about that experience.
I mean, Syracuse was great for what it was. It definitely, taught. I wasn't the best student in high school, so I was a little bit nervous going into college. But it taught me work ethic. It taught me, to really put my, when it comes time to it, I'm babbling, but it taught me how to like really apply myself when I feel like I need to, and how to schedule my life. As well as I met a ton of great musicians, artists, creatives, people there, and definitely was set some stones for me, so to speak.
Yeah,
and definitely pushed me in the right direction for sure.
Do you think, as far as like relationship building, it helped you with that also? Like the connection that you've made with the industry? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, in the music world and the hip hop world, your network is everything. That's how, at the end of the day, you may not have the best resume, but if someone really fucks with you, they'll put you on.
Yeah.
And building those relationships is definitely key in this world, I think, and I wouldn't be where I am without my connections and without my network.
Yeah. Now you do seem like excuse me, you I guess your brand do seem like a type of thing that's built off of networking and relationships, and important because people got to trust you to keep inviting you to things.
It's
right?
also based on love and like we all fuck with each other.
Yes,
I
exactly.
don't.
So and that's why I wanted to ask you, like, how important is genuine relationship? Because sometimes it could just be, I just need you just because you're talented, which you are, right? Like, how do you distinguish the difference between somebody wanting you present because they genuinely want you there, or because you're just good at what you do?
That I mean, that's part of what this job is, and deciding, like, sometimes you're going to go to things that, you genuinely want to go to, and, like, you fuck with this person, you fuck with that person. But then there are opportunities that people will see your work and be like, and you may not know them at all, or maybe you don't like them that much. And that's up to you. If you gotta base it on, what am I going to get out of this? Is this going to be a worthwhile opportunity, even if you don't like them? But also, if you have your reasons and you don't, I definitely, not say I've turned down opportunities because I didn't like someone, but I choose what I do. I choose what I do, wisely. It all adds up.
Interesting, man. Do you think that should apply to every creative?
It definitely can. I mean, it not even in a creative space, and whatever, in a professional space in general. Don't force yourself to work with someone that you don't like. If you're getting bad vibes from someone, you're getting a bad feeling about doing it, then don't do it.
But what if that person holds leverage and you need what they have? How do you work around that?
That's all about your morals, and how that's an internal thing that you gotta figure out. Am I going to take time out of my day to work with someone that I may not fuck with and trust, but the opportunity is good, or am I just going to dub it because I don't feel good about it in general? And yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, there are a ton of asshole artists out there.
Yeah.
There are a ton of people in the industry that are assholes, that are not the best to work with. But sometimes they're going to put you in positions that you wouldn't be able to get into otherwise. So sometimes you just got to take that internal L.
That's interesting, man.
So to speak.
Your resume is really long. Like you've written for, Kazi Magazine, Viper Magazine, music exclusive.
And I just started running for Stupid Dope as well.
That's dope.
No pun intended.
But yeah, so your resume is really long. How did you put yourself in these positions?
I still don't know. No, I mean, one thing leads to another, and like I said earlier about networking, is like, it really does pay off, from you to you, not to say to treat people as stepping stones, but everything you do, it gives you an opportunity to put yourself in an even better position. You do this and you learn about it. What do I like? What do I don't like? What are the types of things that I look for in an employer? What are the types of things that I want to be able to be free to do in my position as a writer or a photographer? That is just, but long story short, I started off with Viper Magazine back when I was still in college. But back then I was just doing blogging. I was just posting music. But as the longer I was there, and the more in tune I was with artists, my tasks started to build. I started doing some write-ups for them. I started doing live tweets for the radio show. And through that, I guess my name got around, or people started to notice me, and I forgot who I worked with next. I think then I started working with music exclusives, because by then, like, I knew that I wanted to continue to do writing. I mean, on top of the photography, I knew that I wanted to do these interviews and do write-ups on, artists that I like, or, music, whatever's hip right now, whatever I want to write about. I enjoy doing that. But yeah, but through that, I shot shows, I met with artists and industry people, and people, my name gets around, and people offer me things, opportunities, and somehow now I'm here.
No,
I don't know. It's not, there's not a one answer for that.
No, that's, and I agree. And I want to go back to what you just said, because I think it's interesting for people to actually know how you do this, because you just said when you started getting in tone with artists, you are, like some of your write-ups that you that you've written, you're very in tone with, like,
do your research.
Discovering like new talents.
Yeah.
How? Why? How?
It's something that I've been doing as long as I can remember. I mean, so to speak, like, and as soon as I, got my first iPod when I was like 10, 11, 12 and started developing my own music taste, I don't know when I really got into music and hip hop per se and doing what I do now, but I always knew from the start that I wanted to do something with music in my life. It wasn't until I was much later on that I really figured out what I wanted to be doing specifically. But in terms of finding new artists and, new waves and stuff, it's just spending way too much time on the internet.
Yeah.
But, and on Instagram, like, it's an important thing. Like, I pay attention to what DJs post, to what my friends post, to what other artists posts. If someone's like, hey, like, this is an artist I like, you should check him out. You should check him out. It just keeps on going.
Hold on. It's deeper than that, though. How do you know?
100%.
But how do you judge if that artist is worth checking out? Because you are a busy person, right? So how do you judge if that person is worth your 2 minutes of your time or 5 minutes of your time? How do you judge that?
Well, no, first of all, do I fuck with them? Do I fuck with their music? Okay.
What if you don't know? What if you don't know the artist, right? Do you go off of clout, or do you go off of like, you know what? Let me invest my time into this because why not? Let's learn something.
100% both.
Okay.
Definitely both. If I don't know an artist, I'll definitely go through their pages, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, whatever they have. I'll go back and be like, all right, who are they interacting with? Who are they? What are they doing? Are they actually active in the scene? Or did they just have a hot record 2 years ago and now they're dropping a new project? It's about do I fuck if I don't know them? Like, is their music something that I would listen to and something that I would fuck with? Is it something that other people I know and people that I look up to? Is that someone that they would fuck with? And sometimes it's not always. Sometimes you'll take a chance on someone and they end up being a flop. But at least you took that chance and you learned. All right, this didn't work. Now how am I? And you close your checklist, so to speak. Or add to it, I guess. But yeah, definitely doing research on them but definitely always taking a look at all their socials, their numbers, and the whole 9 yards.
In a way, you're
Getting
kind of
EPKs.
like, yeah. In a way, you're kind of like the streets A&R, without being attached to a label.
Yeah,
I always wondered that though.
Being a photographer, I feel like sometimes being an A&R is part of your job because
I was about to ask that question.
Like, I'll go so many times, like I'll reach out to artists that I've discovered that I fuck with and I'll just be like, yo, like, I don't care if you got a budget, like, I'm just trying to work with you, like, I fuck with your music, like, let's do something, like.
Yeah. Wow.
Definitely.
How often does that happen? Like,
often enough.
Yeah.
Often enough. I definitely feel like I have like a pretty steady flow of new, in my emails and like my DMs too, frankly. But I get offers pretty regularly to interview new artists. But I love being able to work with an artist that I listen to. And I'm like, wow, like this is a moment.
Yeah.
And then getting to work with them. Like that's how I ended up working with 2-6 and Rocco. Like I literally just DM'd Rocco. I was like, yo, like let's fucking work. Like I fuck with your shit. And he was like, bet, I'll pull up to the studio. Let's see what's going on. And I met him. I took some photos with him. And I was like, yo, I also do these interviews. And he was like, bet, let's do an interview. And then from there I met 2-6 and Tazo and yeah, but yeah, anyway, I love working. I love being able to work with artists like that I look at, that I reach out to and fuck with.
Yeah, no, that's dope. Like I said, back to the whole thing, streets A&R. Like it's good for you to like make that comparison. That being a photographer or a music journalist, you're kind of in a way
Yeah, an
A&R.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because your ears are to what's hot.
What's next? Yeah, what's hot, what's next.
And you're constantly looking for that.
I consider that a part of the job.
Yeah.
Frankly. I'm also a journalist as well. So it kind of literally is part of the job.
It is part of the job, yeah. And you're also a freelance journalist. And
yes.
I wanted you to break that term down for people, because I think a lot of times, I know for a fact a lot of people throw that word around.
Freelance basically, or at least for me, it means I'm not necessarily tied to one organization, one publication. I'm not tied to one artist, you know.
Is that by choice? Is that by choice?
I mean, otherwise you box yourself in. You know, being able to be freelance means like, you know, you don't have to, you know, there may be an event that's coming up, but you don't but there's something else you want to go to that you'd rather go to. You go to the one that you want to go to, you know, like when you're freelance, you can work with whoever you want pretty much. It's not like, and that's like, and that's something that you set with, like, you know, because I work with all these publications. They know that, you know, probably a majority of these publications, their writers are freelance, you know. You don't want to box yourself in. You want to be able to keep your options open, so to speak, you know, to make sure you can work with more than one genre of artists, you know, work in multidisciplinary fields, you know. If I chose to, I could shoot with some fashion models or something, or
do they ever try to tie you in? Do people ever try to keep you as just their photographer? Or
but a lot of people also aren't. A lot of artists, a bunch of artists have tried to do that, but not a lot of artists put the money where their mouth is, frankly.
Is that something you would be interested in if that would happen? Or do you like the opportunity to be free?
Yeah, that's the thing. I like working with different types of artists and different types of people. I love doing that, and it's how I've gone to where I am. But I definitely, I mean, if it was someone like, you know, fucking like Drake or something, if he was like, yo, Cal, come be my personal photographer, I would drop everything and become his personal photographer. But that's like...
But why? But why, though, is what I'm done. Because if you have...
Well, someone like him is like, they're going to put you on to everyone else that they're working with, you know.
But no, this is where I want to get to. This is where I want to dive deep into. If Drake is looking at you as someone that he wants to pull into his team, that means you have some type of capital, right? So why not do some type of joint deal with Drake where you can still keep your leverage? That means if you have Drake, now you have more leverage to work with whoever the hell you want, like a Beyonce or whatever.
I mean, that's the thing, but that's also, that means you're still technically freelance. Yeah.
So why not do that? Why completely sign away to Drake? Why not negotiate in a way?
It depends on the artist. It depends on the artist and how much I fuck with them.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to go on tour too. Like, I would love to go. That's one thing I haven't done yet. I haven't really shot outside of New York that much, to be honest. I've shot a few festivals here and there, but pretty much, 90% of what I do is all in New York. And as much as I love New York, I need to get the fuck out of New York. I need a vacation. I need to... But yeah, tour is one thing that I really want to do. I love the live music scene in general, and it would just be a lot of fun to do. And in that sense, I would definitely, tie myself down to one specific artist for like a tour. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a question, and this is building off of what we talked about earlier about relationships and networking, and then now we just talked about a little bit of artists just having all these relationships, right? So this is based off of that. So when it comes to being obligated to do things, right, as a journalist, and this conversation is based off of Kitchen Talk podcast with Mano, Suits of Mano. But when it comes to being obligated to do things as a journalist just because you're friends with a rapper or the singer or whoever the case might be, right? They feel like you owe them because you're my friend. You owe me the right to do this.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, it's not always good to mix, so to speak, to mix business with pleasure. You know, that's a weird term to use when we're talking about friends, I guess. But, you know, it's not always good to work with your friends for that reason alone. Like, when getting into business with your friends, you know, there might be things that the other person says or does that you may not fuck with. But if you're in like a type of partnership with them, you know, you're working with them, that's something you have to deal with. From a journalist standpoint, personally, I mean, I've definitely like reviewed music for friends and stuff, but also like I wouldn't do like a music review of someone I knew I didn't fuck with to begin with, you know. Like I wouldn't put myself in a position to be like, actually, I'm not really, you know, I wouldn't put myself in that position. And,
would you do it for your friend out of love? Like, would you?
If I'm like in the studio with my homies, like, and they're playing me something, yeah, I'll be honest with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never be like, yo, this is fucking trash. But I would be like, yo, you know, give it to them gently. Like, you know, like I would, you know, maybe I would work on this. Maybe I didn't like, you know, your delivery could have been better in this part, you know, maybe fix something with the ad-libs, you know, give them constructive criticism. Don't just, I think in the Mano interview, who was a B-Dot, I think, said like, that song was trash. Like, I wouldn't do that. That's a bit OD. Especially for someone like Mano, who, you know, is a known figure in music, and you're called out, you know, someone says that to you, like, live.
Go in the studio and work.
Yeah,
that's it. Just go in the studio and make better music then, I guess.
Yeah. But I could see why he would get offended by something like that.
Yeah.
Instead of also like, yeah. Anyway, I feel where Mano's coming from, but I also feel where B-Dot's coming from. And sometimes you got to stay true to yourself and be like, you know, I'm a journalist. I got to be honest with what's going on. You know, that's what a journalist's job is, you know, report the truth, report what's going on. So, I don't know if I really answered your question.
No, you did, and I like it because this is a great spot to end. But before we get out of here, I want to ask you one question that I like to ask everyone before the interview is over, which is, what are you doing now in your career to ensure that you reach the goals that you want to reach?
I'm outside every day. I work. You know, it's crazy. People don't realize I have a fucking side job on top of this. Like, I got a day job that I go to, and then after my day job, and then after my day job, I go to these shoots. I go do my music work. I go do my journalism stuff. But you know, people consistent in my world and where I'm at right now, being consistent is key. I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and be like, yo, I see your work. You're one of the hardest, you know, I see you're everywhere. Like, you're one of the hardest workers I know. That goes a long way. People really take that seriously. They value work ethic. On top of that, like I said earlier, networking my fucking ass off every time I'm at an event, a studio session, this, that, or whatever. You know, talk to people. I mean, and I'm not even the most sociable person, but, you know, I get a few drinks in me and I'm a little bit loosey-goosey. I have more confidence to talk to people and be like, yo, like, what's up? Like, this is what do you do? What are you doing? What's your relation to this artist or this event? Get their contact information. And someone was saying this earlier today, actually, at the gallery I was at. You never know if the person in the room with you, they could be the next big mogul. Like, you know, you never really know where people are going to end up, and you never know, especially if you don't know them, you don't know where they're at right then. You don't know who could put you in a position to win for the next 20 years. And being in music and hip hop, like I said earlier, networking is everything. Your network is everything. Your relationships with people, making sure you stay in good being in good standing with people, you know, having a I'm blanking on the word, but Fuck. Never mind. Anyway, the way people view you goes a long way, and I think that's really important too. But yeah, being consistent, networking, and
busting your ass off.
Busting my fucking ass off every day. Every day. It definitely burns me out a little bit. There are definitely days where I'm like, I'm fucking tired. I don't want to do anything. And then something comes up, like the other day, like literally like a week and a half ago, like I was tired. I had a long day at work. I went to met some friends at the bar for a little while, was there, got a little saucy. And I was just like not in the best mood. And I was walking home and I see Lil Tecca on the street. And I'm like, and I see him and I literally like do a double take because I was like kind of drunk and it was like dark and it was on the Lower East Side, which is not a place where I envisioned him being. But it was him. But I had my camera on him and I took his photo. I got it to him, got it to his team. He's seen it. And that's just like a random ass thing that wouldn't have been able to, if I wasn't ready, if I didn't have my camera on me, that's not something that would have happened.
Be ready out.
Dead ass, especially being in New York, like you run into celebrities. I feel like I end up seeing rapper celebrities like on the street, like fairly often.
Yeah.
Not like crazy A-list celebrities, but like, you run into people at moments at places that you won't expect. But if you, it helps if I'm shooting with film, so the camera's pretty small, so I can just like fit in my pocket
and stuff.
But yeah, being prepared too.
Yeah. Well, plug in your camera and just let the people know where to follow you on Instagram, social media, where to check out your work.
I'm looking at this one, right? You can. My website is Cal's Collection, not COL. It's Cal's CALSCALLECTION.com. And my socials for literally everything, Instagram, Twitter. I recently made a TikTok for my photos. Is El Calvador, like El Salvador, but with a C.
There you have it. All right, y'all. It's RapClout interview. It's your boy Art, my man Calvin El Calvador, Mr. We Outside. We
Appreciate
outside.
You, man.
Appreciate you,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Appreciate you.